Oh. I greet the client, meet the client, and bring the client into the relaxation room. I let the client know you're welcome to communicate with me about pressure or depth and flow, temperature, comfort. I let the client get undressed. I'm back. The client's on the table, laying face down with the face in a face rest. Clean, white, pillowed face rest. Clean, white sheets, crisp and fresh on both sides of the client. I bolster the legs and adjust the blanket. I check in with the client about temperature and comfort. I've already looked at the client's posture and made some observations. Client is thick or thin. Client has curved upper spine. Client has flaccid skin. I begin to palpate the client. I first look for a rhythm. Maybe shake the feet a little back and forth, welcome them in. Maybe hands on either side of the knee. Maybe hands on either side of the hips. Maybe hands on either side of the spine. Pressing heels of the palms into the opposite side of the spine. I check the shoulders for mobility. This client's thin and skin is accepting of my touch. And client desires deep tissue massage. I begin with the left side of client's back. I apply some oil to my hand, inviting the client once again. Take a deep inhaling breath. Let me know if you like this scent. Client accepts the scent and I wipe my hands on their upper thoracic area, carefully noting how deep the pressure can be, as I know that on this thinner woman, the pressure will have to be twice as much to obtain that deep tissue level of massage. I work steadily, slowly and quickly, searching for an area where I can soften the tissue gently. That I can breathe into that relaxing tissue and manipulate the client's body to relax in more areas. As the client's waist and ribs and sides along the spine begin to relax, I'm warming the lower back and both sides of the spine. Applying alternating deep but gentle pressure, forceful as I need to be. Warming up the sacral area, pressing onto the sides of the hips, along the gluteus minimus, maybe gently but steadily into the gluteus maximus. And now I've got the left side of the body oiled, using my hands and my spark of the soul within, my passion for, my belief in, my dynamic, integrative massage technique. Erector spinae, plateau of the back, nape of the neck, scalp and hair, shoulder, scap and trap, deltoid, bicep and tricep, reaching around to the clavicle and pectoralis attachments, manipulating the shoulder, rotating the shoulder, reaching down the arm into the hand, taking each finger, rolling it like a little ball, stopping at the fingertip. Interlacing my fingers with the hand, opening the hand, alternately thumbing on the palm of the hand. I'm pressing the hand down and taking the left hand and the outer edge of my left hand onto the arm, the lower forearm. The white flesh of the lower forearm, the underside, if you will, to the elbow. Once I reach the elbow, I go gently over the elbow. And continue my way up to the scapula. I repeat the stroke again. White flesh of the medial forearm, gently over the elbow. Continuing the stroke up to the scapula. I repeat the stroke again, and then I bring two hands to the scapula. I push along the clavicle, the upper spine of the trapezius. And I trace the shape of the scapula. I work my hand beneath the top of the arm, the cubicoid that meets the clavicle, and gravity is pulling it down. I move that shoulder joint, the ball and socket of the shoulder as I trace the shape of the scapula. I'm loosening the shoulder. I'm checking for any muscle that could be hung up. Any tightness or unevenness on the scapula. I'm trying even harder to get a little bit of motion from that scapula. floating atop the latissimus dorsi, being held on by 4 muscles. Supraspinatus, infraspinatus, subscapularis, scapularis. I go like this. Digging into the outer area of the scapula, just above the arm, reaching my left hand to the side ribs, walking slowly, heavily down the ribs, touching little threads of muscles that decide to release their held thought to me because of me. I reach down to the waist and oil the leg. I take my elbow into the gluteal area and the palm of my right hand down the leg, both hands down the leg to the foot. I come down to the foot. I bend the knee and gently flex the foot. I shake the foot a bit. With a hand on either side of the calf, I squeeze the calf next to the bone so that the tendon can see me. I release the foot back down again and work the gastrocnemius and the soleus and the lower tendons in the lower leg if they're tight too. This client's legs feel supple, hydrated, and toned but soft. I turn around and stroke the leg up toward the hamstring, close as I can without crossing any boundary lines. I like to spread my fingers on the upper leg, on the thigh, and send the energy upward. And then I close up the leg, placing the blanket and the sheet. And I slide my left hand up the outer leg again, maybe stopping at the hip and pressing deeply but gently. Now I play at the waist, opposite hands reaching in opposite directions. Sometimes I cross the hands and push the sacral area down with one and bring the elbow toward the erector spinae, the muscles on just the outside of the spine. be it, but I take the other side and do much the same. When I come back from the other side, leg, arm, leg, and back to spine, I start to notice the depth that has given up into some more softness near the...
Hi Denise, how are you?
nape of the neck, trapezius, muscles of the neck, often short and dense. This client has deeper tensions beneath the surface of the neck, and I start to notice as I take my alternating thumbs along the erector spinae and push them toward the head, alternating quickly and slowly and quickly so that the tensions will feel that they can escape. I reach into the scalp and reach into the neck and find the tensions dwelling in this problem area. I ask the client to turn around, scoot down on the table so that the bolster is beneath the knees and the head is on the table. We arrange the sheets and place the soles of the feet together so that the energy is closed and circulating. I drop the headrest and take the client's hair. I scrub the scalp just a little bit. Put some oil on my fingers for the face. I take my hands beneath the neck, beneath the head, and start to pull each direction. Pulling side to side, pushing shoulders down, pulling side to side, moving chin around, pulling side to side, pulling pectoralis, armpit, pushing humerus down, arm down, back to underneath the thoracic. I reach my fingers and let the flesh rest on my hands. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, The flesh surrounds and accepts me, and I pull the hands up toward the head, noting the length of the neck, and again the depth of the pressure, where the tensions lie. I am the great soul. I am infinite. I am always listening. I press the head to the side and thumb up and down the neck. Little pebbles are starting to float to the surface, circular shaped tensions. I rub and I rub and I rub and I rub. I turn the head. Same thing, second side. I rub and I rub and I rub and I rub. Small little circles rising up to the surface. I stop and I turn the head and I soften and I poke my finger in deeper, asking the tension to release your grip, little tensions. Release your grip. After several more minutes and some small conversations about should we continue to work in this area, I offer that the client can come on back to the body and take a few deep breaths and rise and dress as she wishes. I meet the client and recommend they hydrate. And I return home to sit with whatever attentions I've acquired. This practice of massage, experimenting with my hands and my ability to allow spirit to be with me in this way, to loosen the grip of these tensions on the client, the human's body. Helps me feel purpose. Namaste. 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 Namaste.